Okay, Golden Globes fans, we are here with Matt Schofield, who won our Golden Globes prediction contest. He got 13 out of 14 correct, and that's
Yeah,
92 and some 92.86%
right.
correct. So, Matt, we want to pick your brain and find out how you did so well. And first of all, since you got 13 out of 14, that means you only missed one. Who
Right.
did you miss?
Aaron Taylor Johnson. I did not predict that. I don't think anyone predicted that winning. I don't think anyone had a perfect score, obviously. So
Right.
that one was like the first shock of the night, and it was the first award I think that they announced. And I was like, if this is how it's going to keep going, I was with all my friends, and they all casually watch these award shows, and I was making a big deal about it. But everything else turned out good.
Hmm. And Daniel, that was the very first category. When that happened, I don't know what you thought, but I thought, okay, no, anything can happen tonight.
Right.
There's
Exactly.
no crazy prediction.
Right.
Yeah, that was kind of insane. If you had gotten that one correct, we would have appointed a special prosecutor to investigate. So
Probably. I would definitely have some insider advice.
if you did have some inside knowledge, that would be a smart one to get wrong on purpose, just so you could throw us off the trail. So
Exactly.
kudos.
Oh, yeah. And my plan worked, obviously.
Are you a member of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association? Please admit.
No, I'm not. Not yet. Maybe one day.
But you live in Baltimore, right? And I'm
Hmm.
guessing some of these movies haven't even opened yet.
No. And Baltimore, there's only one like small theater that will show movies that are in more limited release. And I mean, I'm in law school, so not only is money short, but so is time. So it's just been hard to find time to go out and see these movies. I've heard that AMC will have like 5-hour features of once the Oscar nominations are out, where you'll just show that like blocks of movies that are nominated for Oscars. So that's what I plan on doing. Maybe spring break, but I guess Oscars will be over.
And let's go through some of these other categories. I know you picked Isabelle Huppert and you put your 500-point bet on
Right,
her.
that's what did it.
Right, because we should mention there was a tie for a lot of people, not a lot, 5 people got 13 out of 14. Besides
Right,
you, there's Spencer Maverick, Guillaume de Camaret, Miguel Revel, and Philippe Bendiera. But the reason you won our contest is because you had more points. That's kind of like the tiebreaker. And
right.
so tell us why you put your 500-point bet on Isabelle.
Well, it would have been a lot harder, obviously, if Emma Stone had been nominated in this category. I think that Isabelle Huppert had done really, really well, at least well enough at in critic circles awards that it made kind of sense. Even though when I placed my bets, she was predicted like she was in third place. I mean, this is done, and it's an award show by the Hollywood Foreign Press. She's a French actress in a foreign film. And I just didn't feel, I mean, everyone, predicts that Natalie Portman's going to be the major contender aside from Emma Stone at the Oscars. But I didn't really feel the same the same amount of assuredness that she was going to win, even the Oscar, but let alone the Golden Globe. So I was like, I want to be risky because I know that if the risk pays off, obviously I'll get $100 gift card. So I just placed a $500 point bet on Isabelle, and it paid off. But yeah.
What are you going to spend your $100 on?
Well, I live in Western Baltimore, so there's a lot of noise pollution. I'm thinking maybe like a white noise maker or maybe a textbook, which sounds really lame, but
Textbooks are expensive.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
they're crazy
that should
expensive.
cover about a third of some textbooks, maybe.
Right. Yeah. 1/3 of one textbook.
Daniel, what questions do you have for Matt here?
Well, another big one that, I mean, when I started predicting the Golden Globes and I was looking at La La Land, I'm thinking, okay, just logically, not because I thought they were going to just love it, but because it didn't seem to have that much competition. I thought
Right.
it could easily win 6 out of the 7 early on. And then some foolish other editors started convincing me to take it off of a couple of categories that I gave away some points on. But the one that I never thought it was going to win from the beginning to the end was screenplay. How
Right.
did you figure that it was going to win the writing award when you had like Kenneth Lonergan for Manchester and Barry Jenkins for Moonlight?
Right, and what's crazy is that Manchester was the only movie that I have seen, and I loved it. I would, you know, it's one of those things where my heart was telling me to vote for Manchester by the Sea, but then for me, it was like my mind was telling me that La La Land was going to sweep. I mean, especially after this election, I feel like La La Land's the type of movie where it has, you know, an acclaimed cast, great director, and it was a great movie, and it makes you feel good. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of escape. And Hollywood, you know, part of the reason people pay attention to movies is because they're able to escape. And La La Land provides that escape. So I just thought that, and the writing in La La Land was, I haven't seen it yet, but the reviews I've read said it was nothing short of superb. So I just thought that I felt that they were going to win. They were going to get the 6. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to bet that they get the 7th too.
I think the day we opened our Golden Globes Prediction Center, I had La La Land winning all 7. I'm pretty sure I did. And then I started thinking, like Daniel said, we start talking to each other, and I'm like, well, they're gonna probably spread the wealth. So I took it out of song. I thought for sure it'd be either Justin Timberlake for
Oh, really?
or Lin-Manuel Miranda for Moana. And then I took it out of screenplay because I thought they would give Manchester by the Sea something besides Casey.
Right.
And then I took it out of director because a lot of people convinced me, you know, Mel Gibson could do this.
Oh, yeah.
This one, they absolutely love celebrities and they love stars on their stage.
Right.
But you weren't tainted by any of that.
No, I mean, I think it was just, I mean, I live in Maryland. I'm removed from a lot of the external, you know, analyses that go into these award shows, especially I'm sure in Los Angeles. And just all the buzz that I've been reading about recently has been La La Land. And, you know, even today, look at the BAFTA awards. They got what, like 11 nominations? And it just seemed to me the clear pick. It was definitely surprising when Damien Chazelle won director, because I agree. I thought it was going to go to either Kenneth Lonergan or the director of Moonlight or even Mel Gibson, because like you said, they love a comeback. But it was weird. In the TV shows, they definitely spread the wealth, but in the movies, they just concentrated on La La Land.
Moonlight won Best Film Drama, and I had that for a while. Daniel, did you have Moonlight winning?
I did. I wavered, but Lucas Hedges for me was the kind of canary in the coal mine for Manchester that made me think, okay, if all other things are equal and I have no other way to make this decision, Lucas Hedges, I'm going to say that's the reason to go with Moonlight, because Moonlight didn't miss anywhere.
Right.
I had Moonlight winning until an hour before the ceremony. Our boss, Tom O'Neill, convinced me it was not going to win and that Manchester would win. And so I sent him a nasty little text. But it's okay. It's my own fault for listening.
Right.
Were you ever potentially swayed to go one way or the other, or did you just know it would be Moonlight?
No, I'm a little biased. I mean, I lived in Miami for 3 years. I was a school teacher in a very low-income neighborhood. And I really I haven't seen Moonlight, but I know what it's about. And I've seen kind of how relevant it is, especially in African-American communities, the struggle with homosexual men. And I really liked it because it was very timely, in my opinion. But I haven't seen it. So with Manchester by the Sea, I saw it and I thought that in any other year, had it not been against Moonlight, you know, it would have won, in my opinion. But I really think that Moonlight just kind of hit a lot of the right spots for the HFPA. So,
Casey Affleck won Best Film Drama Actor, but is that a done deal at the Oscars? I'm pretty sure Denzel.
You do? No, I don't think so. I think Casey Affleck is like the one out of the 4 lead acting categories. He's the one I would put money on. I mean, Denzel didn't even get nominated today by BAFTA. Right.
I don't think he's ever been nominated by them, which is really shocking.
Right.
It's getting personal at this point, BAFTA.
Probably. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know that. That makes it seem a little more personal.
Daniel, what do you think? Is it Casey or Denzel? I think Denzel still has a shot.
I'd vote for Denzel, but you know, it just feels like it's been Casey's all along. Like I haven't really bought into the whole two-way race thing. I sort of agree that it feels like one of the safer categories of the year. I mean, it's going to be one of the major places to award Manchester by the Sea at the Oscars, possibly the only place if La La Land keeps gobbling up all the screenplay awards. Yeah, it feels safer than Best Actress, certainly. Supporting actor looked safe until the Golden Globes, so that's a little up in the air now. But I haven't seen any sign of weakness for Casey Affleck at this point in terms of how he's been doing.
Right.
What about his personality? Isn't that kind of a weakness? I mean, there's so many Oscar campaigns that go on, and he's really kind of a quieter guy, kind of an introverted type of person. But then again, I mean, Mark Rylance didn't campaign at all last year, and he wound up winning for Bridge of Spies.
And Monique a few years earlier.
I'm sorry, could you repeat it?
Oh, no, I was just saying, and Monique a few years earlier, famously.
Oh, right. That's true.
And where do you stand on the Oscar race for Best Actress? I mean, you don't think Isabelle is winning there, do you?
No, I mean, I think it'll be between Natalie Portman and Emma Stone. I haven't seen either movie, so I mean, I've heard excellent things about Natalie Portman. I mean, Black Swan was ridiculously amazing. Emma Stone, I'm usually more captivated by serious roles, and you know, hers seems a little more lighter. So, you know, she's always been a comedic actress up until, I guess, Birdman? That's what it was called, right? Yeah. So I don't know. Right now, I would probably put it at like 60% on Natalie Portman, but I feel like a lot of the buzz right now is around Emma Stone. So
right. And then Daniel, what about SAG? Who's winning SAG? A lot of people are starting to switch to Emma.
I'm tempted to switch to Emma, but they didn't nominate Isabelle, so I mean that's not even going to be an option there. So I'm sticking with Natalie for now because it feels like a more Oscar-y kind of performance. Although poor Jackie, you know, Jackie like such a strong contender, amazing reviews, not just for Natalie Portman but for the whole film, and it hasn't really gone anywhere except for her. She seemed so strong, and then you know.
Miss Huppert.
Right. Jackie's missing everything. I mean, it didn't even get in to the the Bake Off, the best makeup and hairstyling, where they narrowed it down to 7. Gold Derby was predicting Jackie would win that, and it didn't even get in for the 7.
Right. That's interesting.
What about these supporting races? We already kind of talked about Aaron Taylor Johnson, but he now seems, after he got a BAFTA nomination today, he now seems like he's on track to an Oscar nomination. Yeah. Or can he win, or is it Mahershala Ali that's going to win?
I think it's still going to be Mahershala Ali. I mean, this is kind of like a wrench. Aaron Taylor Johnson winning the Golden Globe, and I guess his run to the finish line. I think I just mixed up word references, but whatever. But I still think he'll win. I definitely think Aaron Taylor Johnson could get a nomination, but I think that a nomination will be his win.
Right. So. Do you agree?
I'm not sure that Aaron Taylor Johnson will be nominated. Even after BAFTA, it still feels a little fluky to me because it seems like it's coming out of nowhere. This is feeling a little bit like last year when we saw, Sylvester Stallone win the Golden Globe, and then he's not even nominated at the SAG Awards, and so it's kind of hard to tell where this is going. But I'm not ready to jump on the Taylor Johnson bandwagon for a nomination quite yet, because I feel like there are 5 who feel a little bit more solid to me even after the Globe win. Are you actually predicting? Are you both predicting Taylor Johnson to get a nomination at this point, or are you still kind of weighing that?
I put him in today. Mm-hmm.
I still haven't officially done my nominations predictions yet, but I'd have to see who I would think he would knock out. I don't know. I would also love to see Lucas Hedges from Manchester. I mean, I think he was great. And how old is he really? Like, he played a 16-year-old, but
20.
I think he's about 20. Yeah.
Okay, I was blown away.
I still think Jeff Bridges has a serious shot to win. I mean, he's a lock for a nom.
Right.
But this, I think Amanda mentioned it in our post show on Sunday night. Why is this category the one that's always so confusing? I mean, last year with Sylvester Stallone and then Mark Rylance and then Idris Elba won SAG. This year it looks like it could be another, throw a dart at the wall kind of year, because you had Mahershala win Critics' Choice. Aaron Taylor Johnson has just won Golden Globe. SAG is going to probably go Mahershala Ali. I don't know. Jeff Bridges.
Right. But I mean, how often do you guys look at like what's coming out of like the Film Critics Awards? Because that's once they start announcing their winners. That's where I usually kind of start like honing in on who's going to win. And I just feel like everyone. I mean, Mahershala Ali has won so many awards that I mean, I think unless something else happens at BAFTA or the SAG Awards, that it's really anyone's. It's his to lose.
And then we have Viola Davis for supporting actress. I don't think anyone's predicting anyone other than Viola.
Right. And I love Viola Davis. I think she should have won for The Help. I was shocked when Meryl Streep won that. That was like, because she's won a lot. She's so acclaimed. But I mean, Michelle Williams, it's kind of weird because she is kind of the Viola Davis of what, like 2008 when Viola Davis was in Doubt. And she had, 11 minutes on screen, but they were just 11 of the most purely awesome cinematic experience you can watch. And I mean, I haven't seen Fences yet, but I'm sure Viola Davis is awesome. But I think that if anyone else would win, it would be Michelle Williams because it was just an incredible performance. But I too would predict Viola Davis to win. I love her.
Yeah, I'm sure Michelle Williams is sort of like, she kicked something as soon as Viola Davis announced that she was going supporting, because she sort of seemed to be the nominal favorite in that category, even though she had limited screen time. And then and when you see Viola Davis in Fences, eventually you'll see that whether you like or hate the movie, I mean, her first big kind of money scene in Fences, I think, is actually longer than his performance in Manchester by the Sea.
Really? Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Are there any other races we should talk about here? What about looking forward to the SAG Awards? I made a big switch in SAG Film Ensemble. I'm predicting Hidden Figures now.
Yeah, they've just won the box office, narrowly beating out Rogue One. I think they have a ton of buzz coming up. I was thinking about that too. I need to take a closer look as to what's nominated because I don't remember everything that exactly is nominated. But I definitely think that they have a strong chance.
What about you, Daniel?
I think I have them ranked fourth, but I think it's a close fourth because, I mean, this is one of those weird categories since it's not Best Picture technically, so we know that they don't always go with who is the Best Picture frontrunner, but often who, like, the biggest cast, the most ensemble-y kind of movie, which is often these lots of group scenes, lots of characters in interacting and having their own prominent roles. Like every single one of these nominees pretty much fits that bill. And none of them has like the kind of Gosford Park size cast that you would think, okay, that's your obvious SAG winner for ensemble. They're all sort of medium sized. So I'm going with Moonlight, just, sort of tentatively. But yeah, it could be Manchester, it could be Fences, and it could be Hidden Figures, especially after the success at the box office.
Right. I just think, Hidden Figures, it has a huge movie star in Kevin Costner. It has a huge TV star with Taraji P. Henson. It has the kind of the indie darling that's in everything, Octavia Spencer. And then you have Janelle Monáe, who's a huge music star. It brings every genre together. Mahershala Ali's in it if they want to, give him a trophy or another one because he may win supporting. But I'm looking at Gold Derby's aggregate predictions that kind of combine everyone together. In fourth place, just above Captain Fantastic. Third is Fences. Second is Manchester by the Sea, and first is Moonlight. Right.
Yeah, I think that, like Daniel said, it's a tough top four. Any one of them deserves to win. I don't know that much about Captain Fantastic, but it is Viggo Mortensen, so it can't be too bad.
Yeah, it's Viggo and a lot of children.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the children are absolutely fantastic.
Cast in that category, which is always one to make you wary because the largest cast often wins. But in this case, I don't think that's going to help it necessarily. It was a surprise to get in. I think its nomination is going to be its reward there.
And then before we sign off, let's talk about the big one, Best Picture at the Oscars.
Right.
It seems a done deal that it's La La Land, but what could possibly unseat La La Land?
Do you want to go first, Daniel, or do you want me to?
You stick your neck out first.
All right. I mean, up until 2 weeks ago, I thought that it was going to be Moonlight. I really thought that Moonlight was going to win. I mean, I thought it was a close 3 between Moonlight, La La Land, and Manchester by the Sea. But, I mean, now it does look like it'll probably be between Moonlight and La La Land still. I do think it's beginning to look like La La Land is the inevitable winner, where for a while it looked like it could be between any of those 3 that I had just said.
Right. So the 3-way race is now a 2-way race in your mind.
Yeah, for sure.
I personally think it's a one-way race. It's sort of like Usain Bolt, and then there's two people who tried really hard. It's I mean, the up for La La Land is kind of good news for whatever wins, unless it's say Fences or Hidden Figures. Even if they're nominated for Best Picture, I don't really think they have much of a chance to win it.
Right.
So to change the direction of the race potentially, it's going to have to be either Manchester or Moonlight. Spotlight did that. Spotlight didn't win any.
That's true.
And both Moonlight and Manchester by the Sea have one apiece. So if one of them takes that SAG Award for Best Ensemble, ensemble is only right half the time in terms of predicting the Oscar. But sometimes the race does turn at that particular moment in unusual years.
Yeah, that's true.
The best news for La La Land will be if I'm right, if Hidden Figures wins, because that doesn't hurt La La Land at all. But if Moonlight wins Best Picture, the race narrows a little bit. But I think you're right, Daniel. It's a one-way race, and we haven't seen this in a long time because last year it was arguably 3 films, Revenant, Spotlight, Big Short. The year before it was 2, Boyhood, Birdman, and then my memory kind of loses me. But when's the last time there was a one-way race? Where it was
I guess you could say eventually Argo, but even that leading up to it, it wasn't the obvious front runner for as long, and it was, of course, the Best Director miss at the Oscars was a big kind of a trip up for that. So a race where there was a front runner this early, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
Maybe Wings. Everyone knew Wings would win that year.
True.
Well, Matt, thank you so much for spilling your secrets, and I'm going to copy your predictions next year at the Golden Globes, 100%.
Okay, cool. Great. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, cool. Have a good day.
You too.